Hi, I'm Jackson Burton.
And I'm Robert Russell.
And this is the COLT Corner.
Before we start our show, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
Welcome to the last show of the 2024 to 2025 school year. And to celebrate, today's show will have plenty of special segments to celebrate the end of the year.
However, just because school ends in about a month doesn't mean that there's nothing going on at Casteel anymore, especially when it comes to the world of sports. Here to talk about Casteel's last games of the year is Camden Shetler in our recurring Game Time segment.
Good morning and welcome back to Game Time. My name is Camden Shetler and sports are coming to the end at Casteel, but we still have some games to cover, so let's get right into it. Beginning on April 24th at 5:30, volleyball faces the Millennium Tigers at Millennium High School. On the 28th of April, baseball and softball have their last game of the season against the Queen Creek Bulldogs at 3:45. Good luck and have fun. Then 3 straight days of volleyball are on the 29th with Basha, Mountain Ridge on the 30th, and finally Hamilton, May 1st at 5:30. Well, for the final time, this has been it for Game Time. My name is Camden Shetler. Have a great rest of your break and good luck on finals.
Thanks, Camden. It's nice to see that our sports teams will be going out with a bang this year.
Outside of sports, one of the many upcoming events at our school is the premiere of theater's next production, Curtains. Here to give us a behind-the-scenes look at the show, as well as the people behind it, is Anakin Hirsch. Take it away, Anakin.
Thanks, Robbie. Anakin Hirsch here in the Performing Arts Center, where Casteel Theater Company will be performing the musical Curtains. We are excited to show you some behind-the-scenes footage of the show.
Hi, my name is Naomi O'Brien, and I am 15 years old in 9th grade. It's like a play within a play, where you see the kind of behind the scenes of a bunch of cast members performing a show, but there's basically a bunch of murders start happening and no one knows who's behind them and what's happening. And it's really cool to see how everybody reacts to it throughout the show while also trying to put on a production of their own. Working with other actors is a really cool and fun experience because you get to work with people who share a lot of the same interests as you, and it's really a lot of fun to just work as a team to make a beautiful production come together.
The stage and actors look incredible, but what about what's happening backstage?
Hello, my name is Mia Wetzel. I represent Troop 8337, and today I will be answering your questions. I am the crew lead for the hair and makeup crew. So I use wigs, I use prosthetic mustaches is one that we're using in the show. We have a few of those, and then we have about 10 to 12 wigs. So there's a lot of moving parts, especially from the technical aspect. There's sets, there's lights, there's sound, there's costume, there's hair and makeup. It really is a mix of everything along with the actors being able to portray the roles. But I think a lot of it is a lot of communication, a lot of teamwork.
That's all I have for you today, Colts. Tickets are $10, $15 for VIP, and they can be purchased at casteelhs.booktix.com. The first show is tonight at 7 p.m. and the same time tomorrow. On the 26th, there will be 2 showings, one at 1 p.m. and the other at 7 p.m. Have a great day, Colts.
Thanks for the info, Anakin. I can't wait to see Curtains when it premieres later tonight.
You know, Curtains takes place in 1959, which is 66 years in the past. Speaking of the past is history, and I couldn't think of a transition this time. Arizona Archives, go! Hey, Jackson Byrne here on Arizona Archives. Today is April 24th, 2025, and today we're going to go over some of Arizona's historical events that occurred on this very date. This date in 1880 is when the St. Mary's Hospital opened its doors in Tucson for the first time. It was founded by 7 Sisters of St. Joseph, who traveled to Arizona by wagon all the way from San Diego. Definitely not some super crazy road trip today, but back then that probably would have taken a couple of days, and I bet a few of those sisters would have died of dysentery. This date in 1909 is when a vote was cast to see if the town of Wickenburg should be incorporated into the state. The vote ended up being in Wickenburg's favor as it ended up winning the vote 36-5. The town is still around today and has a population of over 8,000 as of 2023. This date in 1925 is when the Phoenix Chamber of Commerce proposed the idea of renaming the Salt River Valley to Roosevelt Valley after former President Theodore Roosevelt. The idea was rejected, but it led to Phoenix, and by extension Arizona, getting a lot of national exposure, contributing to it growing into the 5th largest city in the United States. That's it for this edition of Arizona Archives. I hope you learned something new today, and I'll see you guys next time. Geez, that walk gets longer every time.
Thanks to Jackson for another look into Arizona's rich history. Still plenty of stuff happening between now and the end of the school year, so let's jump into it. The high school awards night will be taking place on April 29th. High school dance concert on April 30th. High school band concert on May 8th. Senior sunset is on May 9th. Theater 1X are on May 10th at 7 p.m. High school choir concert on May 13th at 7 p.m. And the high school orchestra concert on May 15th at 6:30 p.m. For finals, seniors will have theirs on May 15th and 16th. The rest of the grades will have theirs on May 21st and 22nd. For graduation, seniors will have a graduation rehearsal on May 21st from 1 to 2 p.m. The rehearsal will be done here at Casteel in Frank Fletcher Stadium. Reminder that if you don't attend rehearsal, you will not be allowed to walk at graduation. The actual graduation ceremony will happen on May 23rd at the ASU Desert Financial Arena at 2:30 p.m. Seniors are to report to the southeast entrance of the football stadium concourse by 1:30 p.m. Students not present by then will not be allowed to participate in the ceremony.
Alright, that's a wrap.
All right.
So, in Casteel's Film Club, there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. Oh my gosh. In Casteel Film Club, there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. Here's some things that we do. What is your favorite part about making a broadcast?
Finding something out there in the school to put the spotlight on.
Seeing all the different segments our crew thinks up of and seeing it all slowly over time mesh together into one cohesive broadcast.
Researching like what's going on in the school at the time and like what's going on in sports.
The brainstorming part where you kind of think about all the segments you want to make.
What is the hardest part of creating a broadcast?
The amount of work it is, it's just weeks of planning interviews and film dates, and then I have to go out and film those interviews and film on those dates, and then editing it all.
Filming the anchors, because pretty much everybody has to be involved with that step. It is a group effort.
The hardest thing about making a broadcast is probably this like making the graphics and like timing like everything right.
The post-production part of editing, it can definitely just be a little bit tedious sometimes.
What is your favorite film project?
A project called The Notebook, where I get obliterated by an orbital space laser, and it's pretty funny.
My favorite film project is probably The Notebook. I just like it because there's like so many scenes like well acted, and also Anakin gets obliterated by a laser, so that's pretty funny.
One I did with Anakin and Robbie, so it was basically a murder mystery where we had to figure out who the killer was and basically put a stop to them.
A lot of contenders, but I would say probably the short film projects that I've made with my sort of action spoof Viper, because I've had a lot of fun making those projects. Hang on, we'll sort out something. There we go. Thank you for watching today's episode of COLT Corner. Hope you enjoyed both our last episode of the school year as well as my last as an anchor. I've had plenty of great memories with this school and I'll be sure to cherish them.
But for now, make sure to remember the 3 C's: courage,
Character,
commitment,
and go Colts.
All right.